Hello, welcome pen friends. This is like the most exciting day I've had in a long time, and I'm happy to bring this news to you that the website is ready that I've been talking about, the inkswatch.com website that I've been working with pen friend Matt on this project all during the lockdown and the pandemic and started in the spring. So we're going to do this video together. Actually, I'm first, and then we're both going to come on together. And then he's going to actually walk you through what the website will do. But I'm just super excited. So those of you who follow me know that I use what I call ink tiles in my, it is a little bit of a delay, so it's a little funny to see this, but I use ink tiles to compare ink colors in my reviews. And on the website, you're going to be able to do some fantastic things, uh, comparing inks and seeing what we have loaded. And at the current time, we've got more than 550 inks loaded. So it's just fantastic. And I can't do it justice with my words, but I did want to talk a little bit about before I introduce Matt and before he shows you the website. One of the most exciting features to me is that we're going to have the capability to link ink reviews right with the particular ink file that you see. And so, oh gosh, I just had a little interruption there, and I wonder if that's something I can do anything about. I'm not sure. Um, so that's something I'm super excited about. And depending on interest from other ink reviewers, we may be able to include your ink reviews if you're watching this and you review inks. So I think without any more delay, I'd like to have Matt come on so you can meet him, and then we'll both be on here together. There we have it. Okay.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Matt.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining me here.
It's my pleasure. I'm excited to share the project with everybody else as well. So I think there's a lot of cool tools and some new things to offer to the fountain pen community that we haven't really seen in an online tool like this before. I'm excited about it too, and I really appreciate your help and your collaboration in compiling the samples and the swatches. So I think it's going to be really exciting.
That's something that I should have said and forgot to mention. This website would not be without Matt. It was his idea and his technical expertise. I just feel like, wow, how'd I get so lucky to be involved in something like this? So
I couldn't have done it without the spark of inspiration either. So seeing all the tiles on your channel for the last few years, it's like there's got to be something really cool we can do with these. So I appreciate that as well. But
cool.
so we take it to the website, do you think then?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody's been waiting. I know there's some people that even have emailed me. Is that website ready? We're talking about?
Well, it's ready now, so we'll take a look. Um, when you go to inkswatch.com, you'll arrive at the homepage and it looks like this. It'll show you how many inks that we have currently on the website, always at the top. And then there's 4 tools essentially on the website, and each of those tools are here, and you can always get to them from the menu at the top as well. So we'll talk about each of those tools in just a second, but if you scroll down a little bit on the website, it will always show the most recent 10 inks that we've added to the site here. So if you're tracking the number, it's 557 today. If you come back tomorrow and it's 562, you can scroll down and see what those most recent additions have been. So that's what's on the home page, and then from there you can dive into each of the tools. So if we go to compare by color family, it starts by giving us some buttons with different color families, and any one of those choices that you make will show all of the swatches that we have in that color family down underneath. And if you click on one of the color panels, so we want to take a closer look at Birmingham Opal Basil, giving that a click opens up a little window so you can see a little bit larger size sample of the image. It also gives some extra details down underneath of some of the properties of the ink. So right now we're keeping track of whether the inks are shimmering inks and whether or not they're iron gall. And then there's also a place for reviews underneath. So like Chris was mentioning before, We would love to have people contribute reviews to the website. So if you're a reviewer and you have written reviews or video reviews that we can link to, go ahead and get in touch with us, and I'll show you how you can do that later. And we can add your reviews here too. Off the top of your head, Chris, do you know if there's an ink that you have reviewed so I can show what that looks like for one that has one?
Oh.
Yeah,
I've
sorry, I
done like
threw that one at you out of
that's
left
okay.
field,
I've
but
done like 200. So I think in the purple category, I think I've done J. Arbonne, Amethyst de Laurel.
yeah,
Oh,
I think you have too.
yeah, I think so. If,
So
if
yeah,
not, I'm
here's
sure I'm going to see one here in a minute.
here's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
Amethyst de Laurel, and it has the review to Chris's video here underneath. So all of the videos where Chris has done a review, those are already linked, but it would be great to add some others there as well. So
Oh, yeah.
if you're interested, send those our way, and we'll get them posted for you.
Mhm.
So that's basically the color comparison tool. It generally arranges on this page from lightest at the top to darkest at the bottom. So as you scroll through, that's the arrangement there. The next tool would be comparing by brand. So this one's pretty straightforward. It presents you a list of brands at the top, and you can choose whichever one you're interested in, and scrolling down, see the swatches for that brand. So this is similar to some of the other tools that are available, but we figured we would make our version of it as well. And these are arranged by alphabetical order. So whereas the browse by color was arranged by lightest to darkest, these are alphabetical from the title of the ink. So starting here in Roaring Klingner, Alkoholgrün is first, and then Verdigris would be the last one in that list. And then the two most exciting tools I think that we have are the next two. And these are really what I think make our website different than some of the other tools that are available. So you can compare to a specific ink. So if you have an ink that you're looking for, maybe it's out of production or maybe it's really expensive where you live and you'd like to get something similar, you can find similar inks to any ink of your choice using this tool. So it starts by asking you to choose a brand. So maybe we'll say Diamine is the brand. And then it populates the ink drop down here with all of the Diamine inks that we have. So maybe you're interested in looking for a replacement to Diamine Autumn Oak. So if I choose that one from the list, it will show you Autumn Oak first. And then after that, it will show you the 8 closest matches that we currently have in our system to Autumn Oak. So you have up to 9 inks showing here, the one you chose and 8 more. If there aren't a lot of close matches, you might find that you only get 1 or 2 suggestions, or maybe none at all. If you get none at all, you've hit a really unique ink. But any of the close matches will show, and then you can use that to maybe find an ink from a different brand or one that's more available where you live. And so I think that's a pretty neat tool. And also useful to show from this page is when you're in the pop-up window with the details for the ink, you could click the title of the ink that's at the top of that pop-up window, and it will also take you to this comparison page and show you comparisons for whichever ink you chose. So if I say, actually, I kind of like Diamine Golden Honey a little bit more, if I click the title there, it will put Diamine Golden Honey first in the list and then show me the closest matches to that ink. And so you could do that from any of the pages that pop-up shows. If I go back to the color family page just for a second and grab a purple, if we want to see closest matches to Purple Rain, clicking on the title there gives me the closest matches on the ink match page. So I think that
Wow. Now
takes...
I didn't know you could do that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a relatively new addition. That hasn't been there the whole time that you and I have been working on the project together, but I had that idea a couple weeks ago, so I mixed that in. But I thought that would be nice to be able to get to this page directly from one of the others. And then the last tool is comparing to a color of your choice. So this tool gives you two options for entering information. You can click on the color swatch here, and it gives you some sliders that you can play around with. So if you say, I kind of like something in the blue family, maybe a little bit on the darker side, but sort of leaning a little bit green there too in the turquoise family. You could choose however you want this, and then either close the window or click outside, and it will find you the closest color matches to the swatch that you chose in that color picker tool. So I think that's really cool. And then the other side of this tool, this hex code, the hex code is a way of representing colors, and it's a lot of times used, especially in web design, but in design in general, as a way of communicating color. So if you own a business, or let's say you have your university alma mater and you'd really like to find an ink that best matches a color that you can type the code in here and it will search for that. So being from Michigan, I pulled up the websites for U of M and MSU, and they have posted their codes here. So if I want this dark blue color for U of M, I can take this hex code and paste it in to the tool here, and it will change the swatch to be the official U of M blue, and then search for matches. And it turns out that Monteverde Blue Velvet Cake is the closest match there. Or if we go to MSU's page 18453B, 18453B, type their code in and search. There's the closest match to the green that is the official color of MSU. So I think this is a really cool tool if you have some nostalgic thing or for a business purpose you'd like to find an exact match, you can use this hex code to do it. So I think that takes through the 4 tools of the website. Before we go to the other pages that are there any things you think I might have missed in the explanation, Chris, or anything we want to touch on a little bit more?
Actually, no, I think I just learned at least 2 new things, so I'm glad I'm watching.
Very cool. So the last couple pages are just informational. There's the About Us page. So if you don't know, most of you know Chris through her videos, but maybe you don't know me so well. There's information here with pictures of both of us about how we got started into the fountain pen hobby, why we find it interesting, a little bit of our background, and how we got together to collaborate on this project. So that's just a little bit of background on each of us. And then the last page here is how you can get in touch with us. And this is the exciting part, I think, and I know Chris feels the same way as well. If you have an ink which you really like that's missing from our site, you can make the tiles yourself following the instructions in the video that we have posted here from Chris, and send us the swatches, or scan them and email us a digital copy of the swatches, and we can post those for everybody else. So we'd love to see the size of the collection of swatches on the website grow, and there's no way that Chris and I can, between the pair of us, have every ink that's out there, but hopefully as a community, we can contribute and find a way to get as many colors on the site as possible. And then it also gives some information, if you're a reviewer like we mentioned before, about how you can send us links to your reviews, and we'll include those if you'd like as well. We decided we didn't want to post review links without asking people first, or anything like that. So if you're interested in collaborating, we'd love to have as many links to reviews as we can, but I didn't want to just put those in without getting permission first. So go ahead and get in touch with us, and we'd be happy to do that. And you can do this through these ways mentioned here. Chris and I both have email addresses set up at inkswatch.com. So you can email Chris at inkswatch.com, and you can email me at matt@inkswatch.com. And if you're looking at sending in ink samples or tiles that you've made so we can get those posted on the website, please use this P.O. box address, and we can collect the materials from there and get them posted on the website that way. But if you do use the P.O. box, please do me a favor and send us an email first, and let us know that something's on the way. I try to check the P.O. box relatively often, but it's not infinite in size. So if the P.O. box is full of stuff and I don't know that it's there, I don't know exactly what will happen with the post office if they go to put things in the box and it's full. So shoot me an email in advance and let me know that you're sending something along the way. And then that way I know to go look for it and we can keep the box empty so that other people can send in their things too. So I think that's all that I've got. Anything else on the website, Chris?
The only other thing would be that I have received 2 shipments of ink samples that I'll be swatching too. So anybody watching this that might think, well, I sent you that ink. Well, there's still some that I need to do. So they'll be coming to you.
Yeah, it definitely takes some time to
It
make the
does.
swatches, and I know you sort of made yours along the way, bit by bit. I had somewhere around like 115 samples, and I had never made the swatches before, so I had
Oh,
a
wow.
swatch making marathon going at my house for a while, so I could get mine posted too. So yeah, it does take a little while to get things like that posted, but if you send it in, we'll get it done.
Right. It's a lot of fun, but it's like I have to stop myself and actually do things like cook and.
Yeah, sometimes the daily needs become a necessity too. So
Yeah. So
very
this is
good.
just so exciting. I'm really thrilled that it's time to share it with everybody, and just so proud of everything that you created on the website. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I use it. That's the other thing I was going to say. Um, it certainly beats really going through like this. I mean, I use the website now because so many, almost all of mine are on there that I have, so I could easily compare, and it's just crazy awesome.
yeah, I've used it a few times as well to look things up also, and I find it's very helpful. So I'm hoping that other people do it as well. But that also brings up a good point that I forgot to mention before too. Um, I think it's worth noting that we did the best that we could to get the colors as accurate as we could, so that it's a wonderful tool. But I don't think anything is ever going to replace having your own swatch cards or trying a sample of a new ink. So we'll always do the best that we can to make sure the color is as accurate as possible. But having all of those swatches, I think there's still a benefit there in being able to see what they really look like under real light and everything else. Some of the colors, man, are just a devil to scan and get an
Yeah.
accurate representation of. So we did our best, but a sample is always recommended if there's some ink that you're looking at trying.
I'm really glad you remembered to mention that. I try to mention that on every ink review because it's right in our faces. We're working with screens, lighting, cameras, the whole 9 yards, and it's bound to change it a little. I do find that comparing is the best way to get in the ballpark you want to be in, though. So, if you're familiar with one, you're gonna be able to see how it compares to the similar ones.
Right, for sure.
So.
I think that takes us to the end then.
Yeah, I think it does. It's been a I don't want to say long journey because it hasn't been that long, but it's been really exciting, the idea of then being able to share it with everyone. So
Very good. I look forward to watching upcoming videos and seeing people's reactions in the comments. And I hope that you all find the tool as useful as we have and you enjoy it as much as we do.
thank you so much, Matt. This phone call, this video wouldn't be without your technical know-how too. So thank you a lot.
My pleasure. I'm glad it worked out. So we'll
Me
talk to you
too.
soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.